Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hi, Brittany. Hi. Ready to take some pictures? Hi, Sonia. How are you? Okay. So I know you two know me, but for anyone who joins and doesn't, my name is Chelsea. Hi. I run Chelsea Shoots People. It's a blog. We're still growing, getting famous, hopefully. So yes, Chelsea Shoots People, that's my page. And so what I wanted to do today is I want to start live streaming with you guys. I think that might be a better way of helping anyone who's struggling with their photography. How do you guys like my pink lips today? Hi, Lauren. Hey, girl. You get to see my craziness in real life. Kind of. Okay, so yes. Just a quick boudoir update if you're wanting to do it. I want to do it May 27th. We're going to do it at a hotel in Tampa. Oh, to get to the live, you just go to your posts and you'll see this little guy. He's got like circles around his head, and you just type whatever you want your introduction to be and hit go live. Thank you. Congratulations on the baby on the way, by the way. Yes, they do match my shirt. I got this from Shooter's World, and the back says this girl can shoot. And I was like, well, I mean, that can go for, cameras too. So we're going to do the boudoir at a hotel in Tampa. I'm going to have the event details up by May 1st. Anyone who wants to sign up, it's going to be less than $100. I was thinking maybe $75 a person, but I'm not sure. So if you have any friends who are interested, definitely send them that link when it goes out. And also to stay on top of these updates, I want to make this like a regular thing so we can hang out. You can, turn on the page notifications for Chelsea Shoots People on Facebook, and I'll share that on the comments to this. And you can also join the Facebook group. It's called, and I'll show you, Photography University, but it's YO University. So Photography University. It might be showing up backwards for you guys. I didn't think about that. Sorry. So if you have any questions as we're going along, just be sure to stop me because I can talk a little fast. But I'll do my best to kind of explain. So today we're going to be doing the exposure triangle. It's just basically how to make your pictures look right with the lighting. I guess is the best way you can say that. So if you have a camera where you can control the settings, so even if you have like a little point and shoot, those you can still usually control the manual settings with the little knob. And even some smartphones, you can download an app and it'll let you change. Sonia, the shirt's good. Is that what you're talking about? So you can change the settings. So I have this little thing that I drew for you guys, and this is the exposure triangle. So what we're wanting to do is find a happy medium between the aperture, ISO, and shutter speed. And what those are going to do, when you can basically control those so that whatever kind of feel or look or mood you're going for in your images, and the overall, are they too light, are they too dark, are you being creative with the light and dark, that's going to be determined by this. Hi, Kate. Hi. I got my pink lips today. I needed the motivation. I was terrified to do live, but here I go. Okay, so yes, this is the exposure triangle, and basically the way it works, and I have a kitty over here, is, so for the ISO, that's basically the light sensitivity, the camera's light sensitivity. So the higher the number is going to allow in more light into the sensor, so your pictures can be brighter if you're in a more dim area. Hey kitty, go away, you're messing up the live stream. One of the neighbor cats, well actually it's my cat, but she's like a community cat now, and she's out here hanging out too. And over here we have Aperture. Aperture, that's basically the depth of field. So if you ever see pictures where the person in the photo is very sharp, and you can see them, everything's in focus, and then everything behind them is completely washed out, or those little bokeh balls that you might see on my cover photo, that's controlled with the aperture as well. So the smaller the number, it means, so if you have a small number, it means the opening is going to be a lot bigger, so it's going to let in more light. If you have a bigger number, it's going to be a smaller opening, and excuse me, let me redo that. So if you have a bigger number, less light. and then more light is going to be let in with the smaller number. So it's literally just like the opposite. I'm just trying not to confuse you guys. And shutter speed, that's literally just how fast the picture takes, okay? So now that I've kind of talked your head off, let's just take some pictures. So I have my model, not you, kitty, go away. I have my model, this little Elmo, my son's little Tickle Me Elmo that a customer brought for him. Can you guys see this okay? Can you see this in here? I don't know how well you can see it. Thank you, Kate, you're so nice. Honestly, guys, I just really want to help as many people as I can and develop a lot of connections and friendships, which I really have. So I really do appreciate all you guys' support. You really push me to keep going, so that's what I'm doing. Yay! Okay, and is there a lag on here? As soon as you hear me say this, write lag. I want to see what type of lag I'm working with. Okay, I'm going to keep going. Okay, so I have Elmo here, and there's the kitty. And for my settings, I have it on live view for you guys so that you can see. I have it on ISO 100. And because I'm shooting, you can see I'm in Florida, so this is literally like full sun. It's even blowing out on my camera. You can't even see the detail. So I'm in full sun. I have a little umbrella up here to kind of shade me so I don't die from sweat. But full sun, so that means I don't need a crazy sensitivity. Literally, I'm going to go with a minimum because I'm going to get the best performance. So the higher up in ISO you go, you are going to get, okay, so I'm working with probably about a minute and a half lag. That's fine. So the more sensitive it is, you want to have a lower ISO whenever you're going to be shooting like this. You don't need all that extra sensitivity because the higher up number you go, the more grain you're going to get. And it's that kind of like, it looks like the picture is completely full of like dots, which some people like. You can use that creatively, but for this purpose, I'm just going to keep it at 100. And you'll learn too, the more I start talking about photography and kind of giving you more tips and pointers. A lot of it really is just give and take. So it's finding that common balance, finding a common ground. You may need to give a little here to take a little there to find what you want. So I'm just going to give you some examples so you can visibly see. Uh-oh. I hope it's not freezing for everybody. It might be just a Facebook thing because I know they posted, actually Facebook posted something talking about Facebook Live, so they might be doing more updates on it because I know it was available only for Android, excuse me, for iPhone for a while, and then they made it okay for Android, but I have to do it through my personal page. I can't do it through my Chelsea Shoots people yet. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start. And here I have ISO 100. I have my shutter speed on 400, so that's just kind of like a base. I really wanted to show you guys depth of field mostly today. So in order to change my depth of field, I'm going to have to turn off live view really quick. Press this little button. Oh, and I am working on my Canon 60D, and I have a 50mm lens. It's the 1.8 with image stabilization. Just in case you were curious. Okay, so I'm going to go to my settings here, and then I'm going to turn this all the way down so we can see what happens when we turn it all the way down. So it's going to go down to 1.8. Back to live view. Okay, so you can see here that it's almost totally blown out. I can't see much detail at all. His eyes are pretty much bleeding into the background. So what we're going to do to focus this, I already have the focus point set on his eyes. That's where you basically want to focus anytime you're taking a picture of someone, is their eyes. The eyes are not in focus to me. 90% of the time, I'll scrap it, unless I'm purposefully, intentionally not wanting to focus on the eyes. So that would be an intentional thing. If I wanted to take a picture of someone and their eyes weren't in focus, I would pretty much scrap it. Okay, so I have the focus point here, so let's press the shutter down halfway. So you can see the camera's trying to focus. I get the beep that says it's ready to take the picture, and I'm going to take it. Let's see what happens. So you can see from the picture, it's completely blown out back here. You get almost no detail. And I mean, it's not bad. It still has a ton of depth of field back here. But if we want to see more of the detail, let's go ahead and turn the shutter speed up, and I'll show you what happens. Oops. Okay, so we're gonna take and we're gonna turn our shutter speed up. Let's go to 20. Let's go to 2,000 and see what happens. So I went from 400 to 2,000 on my shutter speed, and remember, shutter speed controls how fast it closes. So if you're closing really fast, it's not going to let in as much light, so the picture is going to be a little bit darker. If it takes a little bit longer to close, it's going to let in a whole lot more light. Hi Brian, you too. Whatever that means, you too. So I have that shutter halfway pressed. We're focused on the eyes, and let's go ahead and see what happens. Okay, so that was much better. I don't know how well you can see. So that was definitely a lot better. I can, it's got an even exposure. I can see the details and things like that. Okay, so next, let's try and bump up our aperture all the way. So I'm going to come out of live view, turn this all the way up to 22. Go back to live view. And now let's see what happens. I'm not going to mess with the shutter speed at all. So you can see here, it's almost completely black. You almost can't see anything at all. So let's take it. Yeah, it's literally like a black screen. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn that shutter speed back down. And you can see a lot of the times with photography, it's just playing around with it until you kind of get what you need, and then you learn to look and kind of like look around, you know, see what the situation's like, how the lighting is, are people moving, and then you can kind of determine settings from there. So a lot of it is just, you know, trial and error. Hi Lisa, do you go by Lisa or is it Lysandra? I'm not sure, but I do need a makeup artist for my boudoir, so if you are interested in something like that, send me a message. Okay, so I turned it down to, let's see, let's go back down to 4 where we started and see what happens. So it's going to be a little bit brighter. I can just barely see his eyes. I'm going to take it down even, excuse me, I'm going to take it down even further to 50. And let's see how that looks. Okay, so much better. It's a little dark, not ideal, but the point here is you can see, I'm going to move it a little bit closer. You can see, you see how the background is not as blurry. You can actually see the slits and the fence here, so it's a lot more detailed. And that's what the bigger aperture is going to do. You're going to have more in focus. So does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions so far? It's all about compensation, really. It's pretty much what I've learned photography is a whole bunch of problems, and you got to try and solve them. I don't see any questions so far. So let's keep going. Okay. Let's see what happens. Let's try and get a really good exposure. So what we're going to do and make this, let's do F4. Okay. Alright, so that's pretty bright. The shutter speed right now is at 50, so let's crank that up. Still a little bright. 250 I think is going to be a little over, but I tend to like things a little overexposed versus underexposed because I'm not going to be editing these. These are just for these purposes. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Willow. I promise if you were here, you could play with him all you want to. We actually got him from a customer. She brought him, and he needs batteries, so Aiden got a full 30 seconds play out of him, and then it was a disaster. So, yeah. He's sleeping right now, which is the only reason I'm out here and peacefully. So I have it on 250 shutter speed, and then we have a 4 aperture, and my ISO is still at 100. I'm not going to really mess with that. But I do have an idea for another video coming up, and I will need to mess with that. So I'm going to give you guys an option at the end to vote on which next video you'd like. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how it looks. We're going to focus first by half pressing the shutter. So I don't know if you guys know that. If you half press down the shutter and you don't press it all the way, it's going to give your camera time to focus so that whenever you get either a beep or something will happen and it'll basically say, you know, it's ready. Don't move. Don't move forward, backward. Or you can move side and side in the plane, but you can't move forward or backward like this. Because what happens is if you have that depth of field set and I move closer, I'm going to be blurry. And if you have it here and I move out of the way of whatever your depth of field is, it's going to be blurry. So make sure that once that focus is set, that nothing is moving. But I'm on a tripod. Elmo, he ain't going nowhere, and if he does, I'm running. So that's another tip for you guys. You can half press the shutter. So I half press the shutter. It's green, and I'm going to go ahead and take it and see what happens. So that's still even a little bit over for me, but like I said, I'm going to overexpose these a little bit just because I'm not going to bother editing in Lightroom, so I don't really need to. This is more for you guys, but let me get this closer so you can see. So this is the image we got, and that's with a 4 aperture, so aperture of 4. So you still get that blurriness, but it's a nice medium between, you know, being wide open and super closed. So it's going to help you kind of find that medium ground that you need. Oh, the wind. I have a beach umbrella here because I'm a crybaby and can't bear to sit in the hot sun. Okay. So if anyone has any questions about how the exposure triangle works, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to even do a specific blog post about it. So next I'm just going to demonstrate how to hold the camera, because one of my girls, and I feel so bad, I waited like a week to do this, so I hope she's not going to be too mad at me. But she was asking about focusing for when she's taking pictures of just like friends and family. So I wanted to show her. Sorry guys. Okay, hi. I wanted to show her how to hold the camera. So it's going to give you better stability when you hold it correctly. Okay. So she was talking about using the live view whenever she's taking pictures. So this is what she's doing. And I'm pretty sure most of you can relate. She's holding the camera, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong. She's holding the camera like this, looking at it, click, click, click. So you see what's happening, kind of like when I'm doing this, kind of like moving all around, back and forth. And this kind of goes along the principle that I was saying. If you move this way, you're going to be changing that depth of field, even if it's just like a little bit. You're still going to get that blur, especially with motion blur. So to prevent that, what you first want to do is use the viewfinder more. So there are times for live view, and I even like that this one comes out and I can kind of, you know, turn it if I need to, which does come in handy, but I will only use it on instances like this. Where I'm like demonstrating or I need like specific handling. But most of the time I shoot with the viewfinder. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to hold the grip like this where the shutter is. So you're going to want to hold it and get a nice grip on that. And then with your other hand, you're going to cup the lens. You can either cup it like this. Sometimes if my arm starts to hurt, I'll kind of do this little number. Just kind of like hold it like this. So I have it firmly in my hands. It is not going nowhere. Next, you want to just bring it up like this. You want to make sure your elbows are kind of tucked in like this. You don't want to be, you know, doing this number like this. That's going to get you some wonky things too. You want to keep them in tight, and then you want to come up like this to your eye. So you're going to go like this, really tight, and then take the picture. So that's going to give you the most control, and it's going to allow you to not have to worry about so much camera shake. Also, half pressing the shutter and then more squeezing, kind of like with a trigger, more squeezing versus just like taking it, because that can give you camera shake as well, depending on what your settings are. And lastly, I just wanted to say, if you guys enjoyed this, please subscribe. Anytime I go live, it'll let you know, so that you can join in. And also, if you would like continual updates, you can join the group, Photography University. I'll show you that one more time, even though I think it may be backwards for you guys. It's spelled Y-O-U University. And then, so I would like to vote on the next video, because I don't want to be the one to decide, because you guys can tell me, you know, what you want to learn. Next, we're going to be voting on whether you want to do a video about composition, which is basically in your image, how it's framed, how it looks, the different angles and things like that. We'll talk about rule of thirds. Or we could do light painting. So light painting is would be sitting either in the dark outside at night or in my room, and I would be painting with lasers and showing you how with anything, even an iPhone, you can make really cool light paintings with lasers, lights, or whatever. Okay, so I don't see any questions. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, because this has been about 20 minutes so far. I want to thank you guys so much for joining in with me, and feel free to share this broadcast as well. I love fun. So if we've never met before, send me a friend request. That's all for now. Bye, guys.